I'm Cape Joel, and this is Comic Smack, your weekly, daily, all the time, anytime comic show where I give you your fix of everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we are taking a closer look at the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 790. Now that Parker Industries has fallen, Peter himself will have to pay the price. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop on in together and find out. Okay then, so as we join the comic, we see old Pete is still very much on the apology tour circuit. He meets with lawyers who are angry at him. He meets with former employees who are angry with him. Heck, he meets with average everyday citizens who are angry at him and also protesting on top of it. Harry Osborn does everything in his power to help his friend through it, but it's an uphill battle. For once it seems that the tables have actually turned and Spider-Man is the happy-go-lucky escape from the soul-crushing no-win scenarios that is Peter Parker. Oh, but as is so often the case for Spider-Man, things swing from bad to worse. You see, to cover all these lawsuits and everything that's coming down the pipeline right now, Spider-Man has had to liquidate all of his Parker Industries assets. That would also include the Baxter Building, the former home of the Fantastic Four, who Pete very nicely said was keeping for Johnny Storm and the rest of the family for when they eventually came back. Needless to say, the Human Torch is pretty steamed at the idea of his best friend turning around and selling his home out from under him when he said he wouldn't. It's killing Peter to do it, but with New York real estate prices being what it is, he can't exactly pass up this opportunity. Especially when doing so could very well mean Harry, his partner in all of this, could turn against him. All this ends up leading to one giant impromptu brawl between Spider-Man and the Human Torch all throughout the Baxter Building, not unlike the fight they had when Johnny first found out that Peter had bought the building. But hey, don't think this is a full retread of the past, because as the two heroes duke it out, they end up stumbling across a heist operation pulled off by Clayton Cole, aka the sound-based supervillain known as Clash. Full disclosure, I actually really like Clash as a character. He was a reformed supervillain who came to work for Parker Industries but fell back into being a supervillain after Civil War II. But he's not really a cut or dry evil villain. In fact, he's only robbing Parker Industries right now to try and steal back some inventions that he had worked on during his time there. Need more proof? Clayton Cole is actually a good guy. You see, during the big scuffle between heroes, villains, and henchmen, one of the science devices ends up overheating. If it goes off, it could easily nuke the entire city block, but luckily Johnny, Clayton, and Peter all put their differences aside long enough to use their big science brains and miraculous powers to deal with the device. Of course, during all the chaos, Clash manages to escape. Spider-Man doesn't bother chasing after him. After all, he only stole what belonged to him anyway. However, this proves to be the final straw for Harry Osborn, who once again was hoping to sell off those devices to help cover Parker Industries' debt. Peter might have lost Harry as a friend, but at least he still has Johnny on his side. In fact, Johnny has some real insight into Peter's time as the head of Parker Industries, saying maybe he shouldn't have tried to be a hero and a CEO and a scientist all at the same time. That perhaps he would have been better served delegating the duties, letting someone else run the company while he fought crime and furthered his own scientific research. Because if nothing else, Spider-Man, as with most people, thrives when they have a support network behind them. And hey, speaking of support networks, it's at that moment Robbie calls Peter with a job opportunity for him. He could work at the paper once again, but only now he would be working the science and technology beat. I mean, beats taking pictures of yourself, am I right? So that was Amazing Spider-Man 790, everybody, and overall, much like the previous issue, I did enjoy this a lot more than I've enjoyed a lot of Dan Slott stories as of recently. There is a warm kind of familiarity to Spider-Man in this setting, and if nothing else, Dan Slott does try and get down to the nitty-gritty about maybe why fans didn't like Peter as a CEO. The Baxter Building being up for sale is kind of interesting. I wonder who's going to swoop in to buy it. Maybe we'll see more of it in that Marvel 2-in-1 series with Human Torch and Thing once that comes out. I like too, since Marvel Legacy, these Spider-Man stories have kind of been more self-contained. Yeah, they're arc-based, but you get a beginning, middle, and an end and aren't always left with cliffhangers, which is nice. Overall, I'd feel comfortable giving this one a 7.5 out of 10. It was pretty good. So that was Spider-Man, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, want to check out some of these other videos I have available from the channel. Then you can follow me on social media at Cape Joel, so you're always up to date on what new videos I got coming out next. And hey, if you want to save a bundle on shipping and handling for your next comic book trade purchase, then please head on down to the description of this very video and follow my book depository link. For every book you buy, I get a small percentage, so you win, I win, everybody wins. And until next time, everyone, this has been Cape Joel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again later. Bye-bye.